Welcome to the channel here today where I'm comparing the Insta360 X5 versus the GoPro13 Black. Which of these cameras is best for you? Now there's a number of different ways I could start this video just now. I could give you a full breakdown of exactly how much resolution it's got, how many lenses, how many sensors, what the microphones are like, and really dive into the details of frames per second in each of these individual cameras. However, I'm not going to be touching that much in this video because basically both of these cameras are super high resolution and will film everything crystal clear and looking amazing. In fact, through the opening of this video already, there's been a few little jumps in or out. And basically what I'm doing is proving my point. Some of the videos you've just seen in the last minute or so, some of them filmed in 4K, some of them filmed in 1080. Some of them filmed on a 360 camera, some of them filmed on the GoPro13. They all look great, and to the naked eye, to our average viewer just now, you probably can't tell the difference. That's not a cheap shot of you, that's just saying all of these cameras are amazing and film everything incredibly well. What I'm going to be looking at is which of the camera is best for you. Our average Joe thinking about buying an action camera and going out and filming some cool stuff with your friends and family. Now let's start with the obvious differences. These are slightly different shapes and sizes. Which one may you go for might make a difference because the Insta360 X5 is a little bit bigger, a little bit longer, and a little bit heavier than the GoPro13. Could that be a deciding factor? Possibly. The other deciding factor straight off the bat could be the price. The GoPro13 is considerably cheaper, but that might be because it does a lot less than the Insta360 X5. So back to basics first of all. The GoPro13 Black is your standard action camera. It has one lens on the front, you point it and it films exactly what it sees. You can zoom in, zoom out, you can recrop a little bit later, but basically what the lens sees is all you're going to get. The Insta360s, the X5 and the rest of the X series as you go back through in time, have two lenses, one on the back, one on the front, which means it films absolutely everything all at the same time. The amazing thing about that is you really don't need to worry about where the camera is pointing. As long as it's mounted nice and securely on whatever it is you're using, be that a selfie stick or something attached to your bike, your windsurf board, or whatever else it is you're doing, this camera films everything and you can worry about what it looks like later. Sticking with the basics then, what that means for the GoPro13 Black is the editing is very quick. You have one normal video in one line and you can just cut it up and start posting whatever your video is. With the Insta360, when you're filming in 360 mode, you need to do a little bit of cutting. Now it's actually really simple to do, either on your phone or on the desktop studio, and I do it all the time for a lot of my videos you've probably seen through the channel. Basically, I work through the 360 file to start with, which shows absolutely everything in every direction, and then I decide that's the view I want. I'll skip forwards a few seconds, that's the view I want. I can then zoom in, zoom out, pan round, go back and forth, and make it as interesting and as creative as I want to. That's a definite perk for the 360 camera, but it does take a little bit of time. It's actually really simple though. If you've not done 360 editing, it's not that hard at all, and it's actually quite fun, and I've got to be honest, it's quite addictive. Once you start playing with one simple shot, you can edit it 10,000 different ways to make it as interesting as you want it to be. This is a great example just now. I'm riding my bike through the forest, through the olive groves near where I live out here in Greece, and you can see both cameras are attached to the front of the bike. The GoPro 13 gets a beautiful view riding through the groves there. Looks lovely, very nice, but I can't do much with that. The 360 camera though, maybe I've seen a cow in the distance, maybe I've seen a nice tree that I like the look of, maybe I just want to see my face for some reason. I can spin the camera around, I can make it look a little bit wacky, a little bit interesting, but it doesn't have to go crazy, bubbly 360, which I think is the worry with the 360s. It can still look very normal, but you get the option of what to look at post-filming. Pros and cons though, because the GoPro Black 13 only points in one direction, the memory card storage, the amount of space the films take, isn't that big. The 360 files are quite big, so I'm going to need a decent memory card inside the camera just here, and that'll do. I can upload it to my phone and I can save everything in there if you've got a bit of space on your phone. That makes it a little bit quicker on the editing, and same again on my laptop. But as long as you've got a good size memory card in the 360 camera, everything's fine. Having said that about the GoPro 13 point and shoot, you can actually do exactly the same thing on the 360 camera. It doesn't have to go in the full 360 mode the whole time. So if you want to speed up your editing process, the Insta360 can do exactly what the GoPro Black 13 does, as in select single lens mode, and now it's only pointing forwards. Much quicker to edit, back to the normal file size that you get from the GoPro 13s. Maybe that justifies the difference in cost, because everything you can do on the GoPro 13, you can also do on the Insta360 X5. Albeit at a slightly lower resolution, but not enough that you've noticed me chopping and changing at through this video, therefore not enough for it to be a problem. Remember, if you like what you hear on this channel right now, don't forget to hit that little like and subscribe button. And there's affiliate links for everything you can see in this video just now, for both the cameras, all these different mounts just here, as well as the cheeky cookie caps I'm wearing, and a few other bits and bobs. It's all in the video description down below, so make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. The great thing is it doesn't matter which camera you get, all of the mounts, all of the attachments are completely interchangeable. The Insta360 has a little screw base on the bottom of this, so all you need is this tiny little adapter just here, and all of the GoPro mounts will then fit onto it. Simply screw the little adapter onto the bottom, and anything that's a little bit more GoPro specific won't have a problem at all attaching to this. For example, this is a FlyMount just here. As you can see, it's got 3 little arms ready to clamp onto any standard GoPro, but now with this attachment, it fits on really easily. The bottom of the GoPro 13 built into the camera are the 2 little legs that pop out just here, attaching onto many of their mounts. So maybe then you need the attachment the other way around. Again, the adapter fits onto this one, and then you can attach that to its normal Insta360 specific mounts. The cool thing on the new GoPro is it's already got the little hole, just like in the bottom of the Insta360. So again, all of the mounts for everything are completely interchangeable. So there's the GoPro 13, now matched onto the monkey tail mount I've got just here. No need for any attachments, just more. So that's an Insta360 mount, the monkey tail, mounted onto the GoPro 13 directly. The thing I love about this very quick and easy to attach anywhere. The monkey tail mount, bit of a winner in my eyes. The thing I love about the Insta360s is the invisible selfie stick or any vertical mount that's attached to the bottom of this. Providing it's a straight line, it then goes completely invisible. So right now you can see me riding on a windsurf board, and it looks like this invisible drone is hovering just out in front of me. That's using a FlyMount DuoFlex attached onto the mast of my windsurf board. It doesn't have to be that, it doesn't have to be an invisible selfie stick as such. They all just disappear completely automatically. That's the same right now. I'm riding a skateboard and you can't see at all the pole that I'm holding to get those shots. That's different on the GoPro 13. You can't get an invisible selfie stick shot with this camera. There are After Effects, there's things you can do which are basically photoshopping out of a video, so the camera can disappear. It doesn't look quite as good, and it's definitely not automatic. It takes a bit of time to figure out. So if you're thinking I'm going to be using selfie stick shots, generally I'm going to pick the Insta360 over the GoPro. The other worry of using a standard style point and shoot action camera like the GoPro 13 is where it points is the only thing you're going to get. So there's a little example just now of me skiing in the French Alps, where I'm a ski guide and a mountain guide all winter in France. Now I skied this incredible run. It's in the center of outdoors. There's a very famous piece called the Tunnel Run. And I used a GoPro13 pointing forwards at what I thought was the right angle. When I watched it back later, I wish I'd pointed it down just that little bit more to get a bit more of an immersive shot while I was skiing. The advantage, of course, of the Insta360s, stick it anywhere. Point it in any direction, off your helmet, off your chest, wherever, it films everything. It doesn't matter if it's too high or too low. You're seeing a few shots just now of me windsurfing. Maybe you like the shots, maybe they're too high, maybe they're too low. Because they're filmed on the GoPro13 and that's the only shot I'm gonna get, I can't change it later. And if I've got my angle a little bit wrong, there's not much I can do about it. A definite plus of the Insta360s, being able to shoot everything and not worry about where the camera is pointing. It's generally agreed that action cameras like the Insta and the GoPro aren't that good in low light. And as you can see right now from the GoPro13 filmed in the village just here, it's okay, but it's not great as soon as the sun starts to drop, and definitely not when there's limited light or riding around or walking around at nighttime. However, Insta360 have stepped it up a notch. Their pure shot mode has taken it to the next level. Low light is now bright. It lets in more light, it makes everything feel a little bit more alive. This is the next step for action cameras and pocket-sized cameras like this, without needing to worry about where the sun is and what the street lights are doing. This new mode on the Insta360 X5 has really stepped the game up for low light shooting. I've read some reviews online about the Insta360 series not being good enough in the water. Now, as you may have seen from this channel, I film on a windsurf board, live and on the water all the time. I never use a dive mount, and not once have I broken or damaged the cameras at all from water. There's a couple of little things you need to make sure you do to ensure this cameras are waterproof, and actually this goes for all action cameras. There's a couple of seals on the camera where the battery goes and where the USB port is for charging. If those seals aren't quite connected or clicked shut, you're going to let water into the camera, it's going to cause some damage. So every time you go windsurfing or on the sea or anything, make sure those seals and double check they're fully closed. There's also been a worry about the damage or the strength of these two lenses just here. Now, I've broken one of these cameras and it was actually making a video exactly like this. I had it balanced on something to show a little display and I dropped it onto the tiled floor that I'm sitting at right here. That's the only time I've damaged a camera, is actually dropping it from about 4 foot high. So yeah, okay, kind of fair enough. The great thing with the Insta360 X5 is the lenses are interchangeable. So you break a lens, not a problem, pop off the old lens, stick on a new one, you're good to go, and it's brand new once again. The GoPro13 does feel a bit more robust, a bit more solid, but if you're going to be using this for anything extreme, I definitely recommend getting a lens guard sticking on top of this and the screen protector on the back. Let's see if I can summarize this up a little bit for you. If you're new to editing and you really don't want to spend much time at all editing, then the GoPro13 is a great choice. It gives you great shots, beautiful light, and it works very well. It's also very robust, very waterproof. However, if you're pointing that camera at the wrong angle, or if you want to use a selfie stick pointing back at you, it's never going to look quite as good, and it's very easy to make mistakes that you can't then fix later. If you don't mind spending a little bit of time and having a bit of fun with the editing afterwards, filming everything and then worrying about what you've shot later, the Insta360 is the best camera on the market without doubt. 99% of my shooting is done on the Insta360 X5, including most of what you've seen just now. I've turned it back to a single lens shot pointing straight at me, so the editing is very quick, very simple. I don't need to worry about that. So there you go, there's a bit of an overview about the differences in the cameras, the quality of the shots, which are both amazing. And really, either camera you're not going to be disappointed with, but in general, the extra bit of cost for the X5 will do everything that this camera can do and a little bit more. And I haven't even yet dived into all of the AI editing that's within the Insta360 app, and loads of really great little features that allow those videos to jump off the screen and come to life that little bit more. That's a whole nother video that I can tell you about later on. Thanks again for joining me on the channel. I'll see you back on the water as soon as the wind starts to blow.